Hello, Honors Chemistry. Welcome to day number 8. Only 3, including today, only 3 more mandatory lessons until you are done. So you're almost there.
Hey, Mr. C, you're not out in public.
What?
Take off your mask. You don't need to wear it if you're in your basement.
Oh,
You look like the Shredder.
I get easily confused. Okay. So day number 8, we're looking at something called Le Chatelier's principle. So hopefully from day 7 or from lesson number 7, you looked up when you finished the that equilibrium article. You saw that someone called Le Chatelier, at least his last name, came up with or had an idea of different variables that affect equilibrium shifting from one direction to another. So today's all about stress. So what different stresses can affect the equilibrium of a chemical reaction, and that's it. So this will be the first of 2 videos. The second video will more or less go into an example of a reaction, and you're going to do some homework with that. This is just going to be, again, an update and just some real-life examples, okay? So, stress. Take a minute, or however long, think about what stresses you out in life, okay? Literally anything. So take a minute, think about what stresses you out, okay? And I'll think about it too. Okay, so what stresses you out? Normally, when I ask this question, I get the following responses. Homework, tests, finals. Lucky you have to take finals this year. Parents, chores, what else? Waking up early, college, what else? Grades. These are things that normally stress some people out. So in general in life, what people tend to do when something stresses you out is you try to do something to make the stress go down. You try to do something to relieve the stress, okay? When I get a headache, when I get a migraine, I have to take some aspirin to make the headache go away, to relieve the pain. It's just what happens. I don't just let it sit there and go, oh, a big headache, don't do anything. That's terrible. You have to do something about it. But normally it's homework, okay? So when homework piles up, when teachers make you do things you don't want to do, that induces stress. And so the way to relieve stress is to do something about it. So for instance, if you want to maintain a perfect GPA, okay, let's say you have a perfect GPA right now. To maintain that, you have to make sure that you do all your homework, you do all your studying, you do well on all your assessments, etc. You know the drill. So if something is bothering you, let's say you're at, for one of your classes, you're at like an 89. You're like, oh geez, I don't want to get my B and ruin my perfect GPA. You have to do something about it. You can't just let it sit, because then you get your 89 and bye-bye perfect GPA. So you have to do some extra studying. Okay, you have to do some extra work. You have to put in the work to get the A out of it. Okay? You get out what you put in. A lot of chemistry is all about that. It's all about energy. So if you give a reaction a certain amount of energy, the reaction is going to dish out that much energy. That's just what happens. Same thing goes on, with life and all that. So for stresses, if you have a bunch of homework and it piles up, you have to do it so that the stress gets relieved and you don't have any more homework to do. So the whole e-learning thing, speaking of current events, if you are constantly letting your e-learning pile up, that is a huge burden on you right now. And you have to do something about it, so you have to get it all done at some point. So the whole point of that is to do your work over time, a little by little by little, and you'll relieve that stress. I love going outside, working outside, doing stuff outside. So with the current pandemic and the whole quarantine, it's been tough to just go out and do things, especially there was bad weather early on. This past weekend, great weather, okay? So I hated being inside all the time, just cooped up, just sitting here. Being in a computer for so long just kind of stresses me out. And so then when I go outside, I relieve that stress. I walk around, I do stuff in my house, do stuff in my yards, etc. That's a stress reliever for me. And so that's what people do. Okay. Another thing with relieving stress is with your body temperature. So your body likes being at a certain temperature. Your body in particular likes being at, whether it's cold, hot, or lukewarm or in between. I usually like being warm to a certain extent. I hate being cold. I can't stand it. Normally, if people recommended or suggested, hey, I prefer summer over winter for whatever reasons. I always prefer the hot over the cold. A lot of people are different. They prefer the cold because you can always put on more stuff to warm yourself up. I don't care. Okay, I'm the minority in that. I'd rather be hot than cold. Just because my body's always cold, so I like being different. I like warming up. So let's say in the summertime, it's warm outside, and I'm in my basement. My basement is super cold. Okay, and so I go in my basement. I'm chilling out for a while, and it's really cold. All of a sudden, I'm like, it's really cold. And so what I do then is I go to my second floor, to all the bedrooms, and it's super hot up there. And so I go up there for a while, and all of a sudden I start sweating. It's like, oh my god. Then I come back down to the basement, and it's super cold. And after half hour to an hour, I'm freezing again. So I don't like that, but I'm constantly switching back and forth to relieve the stress when I could just go to the main level and be fine. So my body keeps wanting to get to that normal room temperature. Okay, so pretty much today we're dealing with stresses. And what a chemical reaction does is that when a stress is applied to it, it has to do something about it. And so here are some notes on the actual stresses. Take a minute, jot them down. Okay, so that is all for the update for today. There is going to be an assignment with an actual example of what the stresses are and how chemical reactions deal with the stresses. So in this example, you're going to look at an example reaction. I'm going to talk you through what's going on with the different stresses and how the reactions shift based on what stresses are applied. And that's going to be it for lesson number 8. After this, just 2 more remaining. There will be one more quiz dealing with the Chatelier's principle, and we should be almost done. So great. Thanks, everybody.